Welcome back, everyone. Here's a bit of a reality in the lives that we live. There's a good chance a lot of you sit and stare at a computer all day at work all day long, and that means that you likely have digital eye strain. But what does that mean for our children who have been looking at computers, iPads, and smartphones their entire lives? Joining me now is optometrist Dr. Albert Peng with Trinity Eye Care. We have a generation of children who have been exposed to mobile devices their entire lives, Dr. Peng. Kids who were born in this into this and are being raised in this generation of these mobile devices. What are the issues that you're seeing with some of these children?
I think more and more we are noticing that children, like what you say in this generation, we are seeing them to have nearsightedness earlier, and then the changes of the progressions of their nearsightedness become faster. So it's an alarming statistic. 30 years ago, 25% of the population have nearsightedness. Now, 30 years later, 40%.
And about what age are you seeing that these issues start to flare up? When do they start developing?
I'm seeing patients now starting to have nearsightedness at the age of 4 and 5.
Wow. That's unusual.
Right. So, as I say, not only they're starting early, when they come in at 4 or 5 years old, it's alarming. The amount of nearsightedness they have is also tremendous. Right. You're not talking about mild nearsightedness, you're talking about 2200 type of nearsightedness.
Now, how much does genetics play into all of that? Or is this just strictly because of these devices being up close
I think
in our
there's
faces?
three possible, I would say probably multiple factors to it. They have studied, they find out variants of our genes that contribute to nearsightedness, but they only occur in 1% of the population. So genetic play very little part to it. I think lifestyle changes and indoor culture that children is now adopting is the major reason.
Let's talk a little bit about that. The indoor culture, as you said, a lot of times when they're staring at these devices, these tablets, they're inside. So sort of the light issue can also affect this kind of a condition, can't it?
Excellent, yes. We find out more and more the fact about the causes of nearsightedness is that overutilizing the central vision, ignoring the peripheral vision, that is the major reasons of nearsightedness. The form deprivation of the peripheral vision is the direct cause of nearsightedness.
Long-term effects, what are we talking here? What happens?
That's the important part is nearsightedness is no longer an inconvenience. Nearsightedness is a disease, is an epidemic. Nearsightedness, you're able to, for people that have 3 diopters or moderate nearsightedness, have 3 times more incidence of glaucoma. If you have a high degree of nearsightedness, you have 18 times more of developing retinal detachment. I just want to kind of bring the audience to the perspective is, if you smoke 20 cigarettes a day, the risk of stroke is 3 times.
Is there anything to reverse that diagnosis?
Yes, actually, lifestyle changes, number one. We have to bring the kid back to the outdoor culture. Okay. You and I, when we were growing up, we do biking.
You grew up outside, outdoors, right?
Basketball, running. We spend a lot of time outdoor. We need to bring that back into the children's life. And secondly, we really have to aware that there are certain visual hygienes they have to aware of. Do not stare at the computer or the screen all day long.
Dr. Peng, I kind of want to ask a double-edged question here, a double-pronged question rather. How often should these kids have their eyes checked right now? And what else could parents be doing right now to sort of try and avoid them going down this path?
First, I would say the question that you have is they need to have the eye examination at least before they go into kindergarten to make sure that their visual function is normal. And number 2, the question is, what should I do when they already have this problem? The first thing is there's a lot of technology that we're able to reverse that, control the progression of nearsightedness.
Okay, very good. Well, Dr. Peng, thank you very much for visiting with us today and offering some insight into this big problem. I'm sure it's going to continue with the advent of all these new devices in our generation.
Yes, thanks for having me.
And you'll be here to help us out with that if that happens. Okay. Well, coming up, could foods like milk or sugar be changing the way that your child thinks and acts? We're talking about food sensitivity coming up next. Stay with us.